Hi guys, my name is Sam. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you my April wrap up. The background is a little bit different. We had to rearrange the room, so I hope you guys don't mind that the bed is behind me once again. But I want to get into my wrap up with you guys. I also want to apologize in advance and hope you guys don't mind that the context and recollecting may be a little bit off because I am still not actively writing in my reading journal, so I might not have as clear thoughts, but I'll give you guys as much as I can. So let's get into the stats first. This month, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at the paper where my stats are, but this month I read 10 books total, 7 novels, 1 novella, and 2 graphic novels. That amounted to 3,069 pages, leads me to an average of 158 pages a day, or 0.2 hours listened to a day, because I do calculate both. My average rating for the month was a 3.8. I read 4 physical books, 2 ebooks, and 4 audios, and one of the books that I read had LGBTQIA plus rep, and 2 had disability rep. And again, those books with representation could be either the main or side characters. So let's get into what I read. The first book that I read in the month was Wild River by Laura Pavlov. I ended up rating this a 3.5. This was a buddy read that I did with Karina, and we both ended up with similar feelings that this one just didn't hit the same as the first book in the series. I didn't really feel that connection as much between the 2 main characters, so the progression within their relationship just fell flat for me. Then I picked up Solo Leveling Volume 1. I'm holding up Volume 3 because this is the one that I currently have and will be reading as of the month of May. But I did read Volume 1 and 2. I didn't read them back to back, but I might as well talk about them both right now. So Volume 1, I rated a 5 out of 5 stars, and Volume 2, I rated a 4.5. This follows a guy who is a hunter, and he's considered the weakest hunter in the group of hunters. And they go into this cave, and he ends up being the one to kind of like guide everyone because he's putting all these clues together, and everybody ends up leaving him behind as the sacrifice. But right before he can die, he is opted into a video game of sorts, and just follows that story. So I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was incredible. The graphics in here, like the pictures, the drawings, were really good, and I really enjoyed the story. The second volume I gave a 4.5 because in the beginning they kind of just throw you into whatever he's doing regarding this video game, and you don't really know what's going on for like the first 50 to 100 pages of the book. You're kind of just like trying to play catch up or put the pieces together, and so I bumped it down half a star for that, but I did still really enjoy the story and the artwork. Next, we're going to move on to the group of books that I read for my most recent TBR tournament vlog. I did read as the first book for that video, The Predator by Rue Nix, and I gave this one a 3.5. And if you want more in-depth thoughts, watch that video. But essentially, the relationship just didn't work for me because I didn't like the female main character. She was continuously doing things that I felt like were out of character for the way that the author set her character up to be. As mentioned in that video, she's supposed to have a high IQ and really think things through and observe. However, she keeps putting herself in situations that don't really make sense for someone of that mentality, in my opinion. And also, the beginning and end felt very action-packed and had a lot of things going on, and the middle just kind of got lost, and I found myself wanting to skim and rush through the book. Next in that video, I picked up Staying Strong by Demi Lovato, and this one I did not rate because it was just a bunch of anecdotes and quotes and kind of like goals for you to try to make yourself better, make yourself feel better. The angle changed, I apologize, I got a phone call, but as I was saying, it was essentially kind of like a self-help book, so I didn't feel correct rating it because it just didn't feel like that type of book. But I'm not holding it up because it is currently in my unhaul pile as of right now. So then the last book that I picked up in that video was I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman, and this one I rated 2 stars. Again, for more in-depth thoughts, please check out that video. But essentially, I felt like the majority of the story was unnecessary, and all I really needed was the last 30 to 50 pages to kind of set up the story and the idea behind what the author was trying to say about womanhood and being alone in this world and the types of things that we have to do in order to survive. But a lot of the story was bleak and mundane and was unnecessary to me, and I felt like it was a waste of my time. Next, I picked up Flawless by Elsie Silver. This was my first experience with Elsie Silver, and I absolutely adored it. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars. I loved Rhett. He definitely gave me He Falls First vibes, and he was pining. He was trying to get what he was trying to get, and I ate it up. I loved it. This one I actually read for the Chestnut Springs Along, so we will be reading the rest of the series throughout the course of this year. But I am super excited to see where the rest of the series goes and which couple ends up being my favorite. Then I finally finished None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This is also in my unhaul pile as of right now, so I will not be holding it up. Did end up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed the story and the twist that happened at the end. However, I do see why this would not work for most people. The writing was really boring at times. Lisa Jewell has a tendency to over-explain or over-describe scenarios and things that we don't really need to hear about. I don't need to know what color your cabinets were and how you stirred the spaghetti when you cooked it. It's just a little too much. But that's why I gave it 4 out of 5, because even though it was boring, I still really enjoyed the twist. However, I could see this not working for a lot of people, especially with the problematic topics that are discussed in this story, such as grooming and child abuse and sexual assault. So please look into the triggers before picking this one up. For the last 2 reads that I had of the month, I did go ahead and start my Bridgerton journey. I had watched the show prior to this, but me and Dana are venturing on reading the series, especially the 3rd and 4th book in the month of May before the 3rd season comes out. So I started in the month of April reading book 1 and its bonus epilogue. So those are the last 2 books that I have to talk about. For book 1, I rated it a 3.5. It was really working for me, especially because I had watched the season prior, so I could actually visualize the things that were going on with the specific actors that they chose, and that was really fun. However, I felt like the pacing was off compared to the show, and that's probably my fault for watching the show first. And also, there is a very graphic scene in the end that I just can't let go of. It decreases the value of this read for me. So again, look into triggers before reading this. And then, as I said, I went ahead and read the bonus epilogue. I have now been informed that all of the bonus epilogues are compiled into one book, but because I had already started reading them with this book, I just continued on with the rest of the series, reading the epilogues as well. So for this epilogue, I ended up rating it a 3-star. We follow Simon and Daphne in their later years, around the ages of 40, and what their life has become. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody because it is really short, maybe around 30 pages. It was honestly just a nice, cute little insight to what their life had became after being together for so long. So that's why I gave it a 3. It was nothing spectacular, but I still did really enjoy being able to see them at that age and what they were doing. So that is everything that I read in the month of April. If you guys have read any of these and agreed or disagreed with the things that I had to say, please comment them down below. Thank you guys so much for watching again. I appreciate it as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.